Here to discuss the election beyond South Carolina, I want to bring in Rina Shah, a political strategist and former senior congressional aide. Rina, welcome to the show.
Good morning.
So what is your take when the polls close? What do you think the story is going to be from South Carolina voters?
Well, the South Carolina GOP primary has long been my favorite. It's the first in the South, and to me, it is a good teller of where the women in the party will go. And that's not something we've really talked about much writ large. We've got Iowa under our belt, New Hampshire under our belt, and of course, Nevada. But now in the South, what I'm looking for is those suburban college-educated women. And these are women that have been saying that Nikki Haley's candidacy appeals to them. When we look at the larger polls that put Nikki Haley up against a Democrat in the general election, you are seeing her fare incredibly well with certain demographics, that one being the strongest because she really represents their values. Now, what are their values? We're talking about abortion still being on the ballot come November, but also it's very much part of this primary because the states have had the issue kicked back to them. And that's something that Nikki Haley really has masterfully talked about up until now. The Trump campaign has not acknowledged that on purpose. But just this past week, Trump almost eclipsed Haley when it came to talking about this ruling in Alabama about frozen embryos being people too. Trump really succinctly, concisely came out talking about his stance on these frozen embryos and about about IVF, infertility treatments. But Haley, again, kind of stuck her foot in her mouth, has been very complicated in her messaging. This is just another area in which we see her vulnerability, and we wonder how long can she stay in this race when she's not able to message well on simple issues. So today is a litmus test in so many ways, just beyond South Carolina, but also on the bigger issues writ large.
Do you think she should have taken a stronger stance on the Alabama ruling?
I do believe she could have. Instead, what she did was backtrack. And that is something that's characteristic of her campaign. Now, look, this happens for many reasons. I've spent so much time with Republican candidates in the primary stage. A lot has to happen. And right now, what we saw with this GOP primary is that it started far sooner than so many of us strategists are even used to. The problem of this modern era of campaigning is that the technology really lives on. So these clips are kind of out there, and they will be hard for her to overcome when she prepares to essentially try to knock Trump off for the nomination, which I believe is truly the opportunity for her on Super Tuesday next month. Everybody's put a lot on today, Hannah, but this is not the end-all be-all for Nikki Haley. She could live to see another day if she doesn't succeed today.
So looking ahead, Rina, how could a Trump win set the tone for the GOP moving forward?
Well, it's been my analysis for months now that a Trump win would be very difficult for the Republican Party to overcome. There would have to be some political wins that change greatly when we're talking about the potential convictions that this former president faces. These are all almost I would say problems that no constitutional expert has any sort of guide to look at and say, this is how the former president can overcome. So we need to look at this summer as the convention being very important, the Republican convention. The rules for Republicans are quite different than they are for Democrats at their convention. And maybe this is where Nikki Haley or anyone else, even for Governor Ron DeSantis, a former candidate, former Congressman Liz Cheney, anyone could have an entry point at the point at which the former president faces a conviction. So again, my point here is that the political winds could change at any moment, making it tough for this former president to go on and be on the ballot this November.
Very quickly, with Haley, really, there's no chance that she's going to win tonight, according to many experts and strategists, but the money keeps pouring in. Her spokesperson told me last week they raised $1 million just in Texas in a matter of days. Why is the money still pouring in, but the votes aren't?
Well, the money's pouring in because people see that the delegate math is still open to being changed. And that's just true because mathematically speaking, if she doesn't do well on Super Tuesday, where we have so many contests coast to coast, many of which are winner take all, it becomes mathematically impossible for her to clinch the nomination. You need 1,215 to win it outright. But when you're looking at today, I would say if the delta between her and Donald Trump is vast, that means there's a real repudiation of her candidacy legacy in her home state. But still, she could go on to win more delegates or, again, sit there for an opening in which she succeeds, because these people who have donated to her, Hannah, one thing to them is true. It's that she does really fare well against any Democrat you put her at. And so for the Republicans who want to win, she's still their gal.
Oh, and we've seen that in polling. Rina Shah, I really enjoyed talking to you, Rina. Thank you so much.